Good afternoon and welcome to the next short video in the Ahargana series. So far we have seen always that nadi is 1/60th of a nakshatra ahoratra, and the duration of a nadi is a fixed time period, and that is 4 seconds short of 24 minutes, 23 minutes 56 seconds. Now, many people would give you a different definition of nadi, saying nadi is 1/60th of a savana ahoratra. In fact, drikpunchang.com, which I have used extensively in the past, actually does this. They say that nadi is 1/60th of a savana ahoratra. Now, 1/60th of a savana ahoratra has an implication that nadi cannot be a fixed quantity any longer. It becomes a variable quantity. Why? Because savana ahoratra duration changes from day to day. Now, there are some others who take this even a step further, that a nadi is not just 1/60th of a savana ahoratra, but the daytime portion of a savana ahoratra, that means sunrise to sunset, is 30 nadis, and the night portion, that is sunset to the next sunrise, is another 30 nadis, meaning the daylight is split into 30 equal parts and the night time is split into 30 equal parts. Again, drikpunchang.com does this. This not only means that a nadi is not a fixed quantity, this means that a nadi in the morning, in the daytime, has a duration which is different from that of nadi in the night. And if a fundamental unit like nadi has a variable duration, that too even between day and night, then is it a unit of measure at all? In my opinion, it cannot be a unit of measure if it has a variable quantity. So let me illustrate that with an example here. I am taking this second definition which I spoke about, that daytime is 30 nadi, night time is another 30 nadis. And I went to NASA and I got duration of sunrise sunset, not at Bangalore but at Boston. And I got this for winter solstice 2024. That is 21st December 2024. Why did I choose winter solstice? Because I know that in winter solstice, in a northern latitude like Boston, the daylight hours are quite small and the night is quite long. Sun rises late, sets early. So now in Boston, on the winter solstice day, you see here on this chart, this is x-axis is the time of day. So it starts at 6 a.m., 8 a.m., 10 a.m. This is noon. Then this is 6 p.m. in the evening. Then this is midnight. And the date changes to 22nd December 2024. And then again 6 a.m. of 22nd December. Now what are these lines? I took the time between sunrise and sunset and split it into 30 equal parts. So each line indicates the start of a nadi, and the gap between two lines is the duration of a nadi, and the number of the nadi is shown here. This is the first nadi, second nadi, third nadi, fourth nadi, fifth nadi, etc. 30 nadis make up the daylight hours. And starting with sunset, another 30 nadis make up the nighttime hours until you reach sunrise of the next savana ahoratra. So you see sunrise in Boston on 21st December is at 7:12 a.m. Sunset is at 4:13 p.m. And then the next sunrise is again at 7:12, 29 seconds. We have seen this before, that the duration is not exactly 24 hours, it's slightly greater by a few seconds. So 30 nadi is daytime, 30 nadi is nighttime, and immediately you can see that the duration of a nadi in the daytime is clearly smaller and the duration of a nadi in the night time is longer. Now think of the consequences. If you have a definition of nadi like this, where in the daytime nadi is small and nighttime nadi is large. Suppose there is an examination which goes on for 4 nadis, and if it happens in the afternoon, A student takes that examination in the afternoon. He gets 4 nadis, let's say 24, 25, 26, 27 nadis is the examination. And imagine the same examination is taken by another student in the evening at this time. So 4 nadis again, these nadis 4, 5, 6, 7. So clearly the student who takes this exam in the evening is getting more time to write the exam, though it's still 4 nadis. But your duration of nadi itself changed. This is completely unfair. So you cannot work with the definition of a nadi where the duration of a nadi is not fixed, it's variable. At least you cannot work for civil purposes, like taking an examination, or there are many other time-bound activities where you cannot depend on a duration if it is a variable definition of a nadi. So more fundamentally, for anything to be a unit of measure, it has to be constant. For example, we know that in the Indus Saraswati civilization, weights and measures were constant. Whichever corner of the civilization you go to, the same weights and measures were used, no variation. And we are very proud of that because that is an indicator of civilization, that they standardized the weights and measures. So if weights and measure are not standardized, then well, they are not units of measure at all. So same way here, if the nadi is not standardized to a fixed value, if it keeps varying even between day and night, it cannot be used as a unit of measure. So even if you take the other definition that the entire savana ahoratra is split into 60 nadis, then within a day it's okay, but you go to the next day and the next day, the duration of the nadi keeps changing across days. Whereas this example I showed you, within a single day, across day and night, the duration changed. So this is why the astronomers went to nakshatra ahoratra, which is a fixed quantity, divided that into 60 parts to create a nadi, because then it becomes a fixed quantity. Whereas there are probably other sources, other texts in our Hindu corpus, which maybe define nadi like this. But clearly it's the astronomer's definition of nadi which is amenable to being used as a unit of measure of time. So with this, I close this video. Thank you very much for watching.